morning, everybody. Welcome to the Cabbage Club with your boy, Casey Gibbons, and the one and only Kaden Brigance.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back.
Oh, man, and I am excited to be back.
Yes, me too.
Today,
this one's going to be...
This is our first, real scheduling for the Cabbage Club, man. Our first official, scheduled programming. It's a big step.
Oh, yeah, we're taking off.
And I'm excited. So, what this is we are going to be reviewing 3 episodes of Succession weekly. Yes. And we are just going to do that to catch up because I love that show so very much. It is one of my... If you watched our top 3, it was my number 1. So I just had to convince my boy over here, Kaden, to watch it.
Yeah, he... about a year it took him for me to actually watch it. So here I am.
It took too long, man. A year is too long of a wait.
Yeah, honestly, from the first 3 episodes, I think 1 year maybe was a little too long. I kind of do wish I saw it a little bit earlier.
But... I'm so excited to start into Succession. I'm jumping a little ahead here. We are the Cabbage Club, and we bring you weekly recaps of your favorite animation, your favorite books, your favorite movie, and right here, your favorite television series. And I'm doing my favorite for the first one, so I want to do Succession. We're going to hit up Ted Lasso Season 2 when that comes up, because, man, we got to hit Caden's. What was that?
Yeah, that was my number 1.
That was your number 1? Yeah,
Ted Lasso.
That was, huh?
Ted Lasso.
Such a
I'm
good
excited
one.
for that one.
So pumped. Season 2, that trailer looked hysterical.
Actually, I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Maybe you shouldn't. Stay unspoiled, you know?
Maybe.
Keep those virgin eyes.
That's going to be tempting, though.
Keep those virgin eyes, bro.
That's going to be, honestly, torture tempting.
I know, I shouldn't have told you about it, huh?
Yeah, I didn't even know a trailer was out yet.
I know, I'm sorry, man.
I'm honestly probably going to watch it tonight.
It doesn't spoil too much, so you're good.
Okay, yeah. I just got to see Ted Lasso's face.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great character.
With his little mustache. It's adorable. This makes me want to grow a mustache, you know?
Casey's already got it going on here.
I'm trying here. I look like a catfish.
You got just a little peach fuzz on you. Nice.
All right, so should we just jump right in? How we're going to do this kind of structured with the 3 episodes is I'm going to do so we're first going to give our impressions of episode 1, and then we're going to do a little overview, rundown of the episode, then do that for episode 2, episode 3, and on, so forth. So that's kind of going to be the structure of this.
Succession Season 1.
All right, so
let's hop into it.
What did you think of episode 1, Celebration, the very first episode of this masterpiece?
It was slow getting started off.
Yeah.
And that's mainly really because so many family members.
I'll agree with that. You got to get used to them.
Yeah. But as it builds and more character development into the characters, like Craig, I think he had an awesome character development.
The egg.
Yeah, so I think he'll be a really cool character in the future. Yeah. But overall, I think the episode, especially how it ended, it really makes you want to hop into that second episode. Oh yeah, you 100%. Just wonder, what's gonna happen.
What the hell? So I really, going off everything said, I really loved the episode. This actually, I forgot to mention this. This is my 3rd time watching Succession.
Wow.
And this is Caden's first.
Yeah.
So
yes, we do gotta mention that.
I got a different perspective on it. So rewatching the first episode, I really love how they introduce all the characters. I think it's brilliant. I think it's really good to see where they start, and especially for me, how it contrasts with how they end. Some of it's insane, just mind-blowing. You're like, fuck, they started like that,
Oh yeah,
which you don't know where the character arcs go.
They started, they did start it very good with Logan. Right off the bat, he's pissing in the corner.
Right? You're like, what's wrong with him?
They've lived in that house for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean that's their New York penthouse.
Yeah, so he's been there for a while, and so right off the bat, you kind of wonder, where's he at? Yeah,
Mentalines.
And then they hop into Kendall. Yeah. And then his character development and how he...
Well, hey, should we just jump into the recap real quick? It seems like we're kind of going over chronological order, so let's just hop in. So the first thing that happens is Logan pisses in the closet and he's confused where he's at.
Right.
And, that's really, you're like, what is his mental state at?
Yeah.
Does he have Alzheimer's?
Right off the bat.
Yeah, so you're like, because he's such a powerful character, you figure out. So that kind of shows weakness in him at the beginning.
Yeah, it kind of makes you question throughout. I mean, for the first 3 episodes, you really question, what does he mean? What is he not saying? Does he even know what he's doing?
Exactly. It makes you question Logan from the very beginning, his mindset.
His little decisions to his big decisions.
Really smart opener, because it's... I don't know, it's a weird opener to think about just someone pissing in the closet, but it really works, I think, well. It makes you question such a powerful character that scares every other character, because his children, Roman, Logan, Shiv, they're terrified of him.
Yeah, that's what I got throughout the show, is really, the family's scared of him. Logan himself is very distant from not only the world, it seems like, I mean, because it shows a scene where he was walking through some paparazzi and he did not give a flying fuck
not at all
about what people were saying, what they wanted, what they were doing, crap like that. But even not only from the world, but his family as well. He's very distant from them, kind of keeps to himself.
Yep, exactly. I think Marcia is really the only one he kind of, well, I mean, even that's kind of a little spoiler, not too much, but he opens up to Marcia, like, as it goes. That seems like the only one he's kind of close with and not afraid to show his true self to.
Yeah, it may just be me, but I'm not really liking Marcia
so far. Marcia?
No, she's got a big suspicion cloud over her.
I'll agree. She's very suspicious at the beginning, for sure.
Yeah, so I think it'll be really cool to see what she ends up doing. Because I know she's got some stank on her.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So then, after that, my boy Kendall, I love Kendall. He's one of my favorite characters throughout, and he's in the car getting pumped. He's listening to some Beastie Boys. He's going to a meeting to Volter, and he's about to offer to buy them. And he comes up all cocky, you know, he's feeling fresh.
What's up, dude?
Yeah. How's it going? You know, he's acting friendly, super.
Yeah. You can tell that other guy, the Volter guy, did not like the dude.
No, they didn't. And they even mentioned they don't like his company and they don't like his drug use. So they decline his offer.
Yeah. And that was a big moment in the scene. You could, especially for Kendall, you could really see where he's at standing in the company.
He was
front
just
lines.
Shocked. Yeah, exactly. So, that was like his big moment to impress his dad. And then you kind of notice that because the next scene they mention, yo, what should we do? Should we call your dad? Do you want to call your dad? Do you want to call your fucking dad?
Yeah.
No, we're not going to call your dad. And then who calls? Mr. Logan Roy, his dad. And you just see the demeanor in his voice go from confident to just
really kiss assy.
Yes sir. No, they didn't buy.
Yeah,
you know, just terrified to tell him the news.
Oh yeah, right off the bat you could tell that Kendall tries very hard to please Logan.
Oh yeah. He's a dad. He wants to be daddy's boy. Yeah. Daddy's little good boy.
They have a very awkward relationship, a very distant. It's like, you know, polar magnet in between them. They're completely opposite, but he's still just trying to impress his dad.
And I think a lot of it too comes from, I feel like he doesn't want to disappoint his dad again, because I know he did with the drug use,
with the rehab and all that.
Yeah,
true. That's a good point.
Because the dad mentions, "Oh, are you out of the cuckoo house now?" It's like, no, it was rehab, Dad.
Right.
You know?
So I guess you could see from Logan's perspective too.
Yeah.
Of why he would be disappointed.
His son's kind of been a fuck up, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that does make the Kendall a very much more interesting character now that I connected those two.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then up next we got Craig the Egg, and he's just, you know, he's in his car smoking a little doobie, smoking a cigarette, marijuana stick, you know?
Yeah.
He's enjoying it, and then he goes to Waystar training, and they hand him a mascot suit, and these little shits just start spinning him, you know, and he's so high, he just
beating the shit out of him.
Yeah, he just starts throwing up everywhere, tells the kids to fuck off, and man... What an entrance for Craig. It just makes him so lovable, right?
Yeah, instantly, right off the bat, you could tell that Craig is completely different than anyone else in this show.
100%.
And I thought it was a really interesting point that I found out is, so they call him Craig. His real name's Greg.
Greg.
And that was my favorite line by him. He's like, I go by both. You can call me Craig or Greg. I answer to both.
I actually forgot that because everyone does say Craig.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So I thought that was a really cool point that they made.
That's really good. And then after that, you know, he has to call his mom. And I love the little scene of him trying to convince his mom why he's got fired. He's like, well, I kind of picked up this hitchhiker, and he very threateningly grabbed a cigarette, and it kind of smelled like marijuana, so he started smoking it. And, well, I think I got a secondary high. And you can tell instantly his mom's like, oh, his mom's not taking any of that bullshit.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
She's a good mother and sets him up with her uncle, Mr. Logan Roy, Big Boy Roy.
Right. Oh, yeah. And that actually brings me back to my last point. Saying how distant Logan is. It shows how distant Logan is that he doesn't even talk to his own brother.
No, Craig's dad.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we haven't met yet. We're about to meet him pretty soon.
Oh, we do meet him?
Yeah, we do meet him.
Oh, okay.
So it's a really good episode with him in it.
And he talks to Logan? Actually, don't spoil it.
I won't spoil it for sure.
Interesting.
But they have a really good... He's a great character. Okay. So I'm excited for his introduction. But I love how they don't talk to him, you know, they're so distant.
Yeah. And I believe, doesn't he have a seat on the company?
Yeah, he has a seat on the company.
Right, okay. So
which just drives Logan crazy because he has nothing to do with the company.
But yet they don't talk. It's very weird.
It is very weird. So after the whole Craig scene, we got Roman Roy, another brother, and he comes up. And he doesn't even show up first. What comes up first is a sage guy. And he's lighting this wick on fire and going around the office, you know, trying to get all those bad spirits out. And Kendall and them are like, what the fuck? Right. And then Roman comes in, he's like, you like my gift? And then they're like, no. He's like, all right, fuck off, man. Just showing so disregard for that sage person.
Roman is a character.
Oh, yeah. I love Roman.
He's a funny guy.
Oh, yeah, he's funny.
He's funny. He's an asshole, but he's funny.
Yes, he's a huge asshole.
No filter at all.
Yeah.
Really, in my perspective, no social skills at all.
Not at all.
He can't read a room. No. Doesn't know when to say stuff.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He does whatever comes in his mind, he's saying.
So Roman is quite the character.
And I got a fun fact for you. So the actor of Roman Roy is actually Kieran Culkin.
Okay.
And does the Culkin last name ring a bell to you?
Only thing that rings a bell for me is when I was watching The Sun.
The Sun?
I think their last name was McCulkin.
Fair.
But I know that's not what you're talking about.
No, that's not. So actually, a little movie called Home Alone is starring Macaulay Culkin, his brother.
Really?
Yeah, so they are brothers.
Wow.
Right?
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I had no idea.
Here's a picture of him. Macaulay Culkin in his age right now, and you see the resemblance for sure in the face when you look at it.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's actually funny because when we were watching it, that's kind of what I was thinking. Is like I recognize him. Yeah. I was getting a Tobey Maguire for some reason. He kind of
has a Tobey Maguire feel for sure.
But maybe that's it. So that's really cool. Yeah. Did not know that.
Nah, I thought that was funny. So there's a little coincidence, you know. Yeah. I love siblings in Hollywood. Right. It's just cool to see family connections and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And like, all the different things that they play in, the different skills that they have.
Yeah, like Jake Gyllenhaal and his sister.
Yeah.
They're really good. I love his sister. Anyway, what happens next is, and I just thought this was a cool contrast between the rich of Logan, but he has a maid clean up his piss.
Oh,
so he has no shame, and you just see a maid on the ground just scrubbing the piss, you know?
Interesting.
And you're like, I guess when you're that rich, you really don't care. But I feel like if it was me, you know, I'd be so embarrassed by it, and I would definitely like clean it myself, you know?
Yeah.
But they just, you know, that's why they hire him. So they gotta clean up their piss.
He probably pissing around in every closet. When he needs to go, he needs to go.
All right. So then who comes in is Tom and Siobhan. Yeah. And Tom is trying to find a gift for Logan.
Okay, yeah.
Remember, he's trying. He's like, and Logan's just like, he doesn't care whatever it is, just.
Shiv, you mean?
Shiv says Logan doesn't care about gifts as long as it's above 15K and looks important. He's gonna hate it either way.
Yeah, and then when he did hand him the gift, he didn't give a shit.
No, not one. It was hilarious. Yeah. But you could just see how much Tom in that little scene, how much he cares about the approval from the Roy family.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's sucking up to Logan too.
Oh, so hard.
And you kind of, you feel for the guy. I mean, he's in a very powerful family.
Oh, a million%.
You'd have to win their approval.
Yeah, and that'd be
because they could just kick you to the curb whenever they want. Yeah. They're that powerful. So
God, imagine that. I mean, I bet he knew before he started dating her, but if he didn't, you know, he's dating Siobhan. He's like, hey, you gotta come meet my dad. Yeah, and he's one of the most powerful men in the world.
Right. He probably had no idea how much drama was in the family either.
Oh yeah.
So
that's one cool thing about the show. You know, you think. Because, you know, rappers, they always say more money, more problems. And I'm like, nah, man, money can solve everything. Money can solve everything. But then you watch this and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, wow. There's a lot of problems, you know?
I think Kendall expresses that point the most for me throughout the 3 episodes. Yeah. It's just the stress.
Oh, I mean,
if I was Kendall, I don't know if I could handle that much stress. Keeping it.
Oh, it'd be unbelievable.
And we'll get to why.
I think that's honestly why he broke and did drugs. You know, it's such a stressful job that.
Yeah. Stressful family.
Everyone like does drugs, and then you see Stewie before he makes a deal. He's like, "Hey, can I get my cocaine first?" You know,
the relationship between Kendall and his dad. I mean, that could have what made him start drugs.
That's what
his dad in the first place.
Yeah, no approval from his dad.
Yeah. So it's really cool to think about. Is.
And then after that, Logan comes up to the office where Kendall's trying to make a deal with Volter and surprises Kendall. Oh, and you could tell, like, again, you know, this is another Kendall's in his confidence mode talking business. Right. And then his dad comes up and he's like, Father, what are you doing here?
Destroys it. Completely changes his demeanor.
Yeah, he's just terrified after that.
Yeah, you really feel bad for Kendall.
You do. You do. Yeah. Kendall has a hard time. So then after that, you know, I need to try to find a bear change this. And I'm saying, you know, after that, a lot. Kind of hard to find transitioning words.
Yeah, we'll get used to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Bear with us, guys.
So after that, paparazzi are hounding Logan while he's walking to his apartment, and he tells them to fuck off.
Yeah.
That's just his catchphrase, you know. Logan's no one says fuck off better than Logan.
Yeah.
And you'll hear that throughout the series.
With his poker face.
And then out of nowhere, Craig the Egg appears.
Oh, that's right.
He's
Craig.
like, hey, happy birthday.
And he comes in completely oblivious. He has no idea what the hell is going on.
Especially when he's going up the elevator, then there's that surprise party.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they walk in. Yeah, Craig, he's completely oblivious.
Oh, he was just so awkward during that. He's
very awkward. I mean, in his position, I would be too. I would have no idea what to do.
Bro, I would be.
What he was dressed in compared to a lot of the people. Oh, yeah.
Dude,
that was a very, I'm sure, high
Craig,
anxiety situation 100%. For him. I love Craig, too.
He's the greatest. He's like our perspective of that world. He's like a normal person kind of jumping into this just unbelievable world.
Right.
Like, we can't comprehend how much money these Roys have.
Yeah.
Because it's just a ungodly amount.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Craig, he has a lot to learn.
He does.
Yeah.
And just wait. I love his character arc.
Yeah.
Then Logan's getting all these gifts, and he's just so uninterested in the gifts and the surprises. Like, he could just not care any less about that, you know?
He probably stopped counting how old he was anyway. Probably doesn't even know how old he is. So.
But Mr. Connor, he's so excited. He has this little gift, and Logan grabs it. It's a Tupperware.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's goo.
Just a bag of goo. He's all like sourdough.
It's sourdough. I thought you'd like something that you could build yourself.
It's like, wow, bread.
No, wow, old bread.
Oh, old bread, that's right. It's the old way of making bread.
I love Connor. He's just such like...
Connor, so far for me, has been hard to read.
Yeah.
He seems like a very genuine guy.
Yeah, he does.
He kind of doesn't belong in the family.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I think that's because he distanced himself from the family a lot.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't, like, he lives in his own ranch far away. He has to come visit them and everything. Like, he's not there as much as Shiv, Roman, and Kendall are.
Right, I see.
So I think that's why.
And is he married? Or was it that girl that he has around?
Yeah. There's a big spoiler. There's something big that comes up with that girl that I don't want to spoil, but it makes the dynamic
I just know they hate that chick.
Yeah, and there's a reason why.
Not sure why, okay.
And she's super nice, but then when you figure out her occupation, you're kind of like, oh, I understand why, you know?
Yeah, oh yeah, okay. Just have to keep watching and waiting.
But now,
I hate waiting.
I know, right? Logan, he just does not care about any of this party. He's just thinking business. So he's calling for a family meeting. But before that, Craig the Egg asserts some dominance, and he comes up to Logan. He's like, hey man, I need you to give me a job, or I need you to help me out, you know?
Yeah.
And you could tell in Logan's expressions, he kind of respected that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So he was thinking, he's like, oh, wow, impressive.
Yeah, and that was the scene where Craig was saying his uncle or his grandfather sent him to come talk to you, and Logan was, have him talk to me, have him ask me himself. Was that scene?
Yeah, I think that was, because then there's the car scene as well, but I think in the car scene is where they discuss the seat, and Craig is scheming for the seat board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember when they're driving in the car to the baseball field?
Okay, yeah.
And then Craig's like, well, you know, my uncle, or my grandpa has a seat on this that you don't really use, so maybe...
That's right, he's going to try and talk his grandfather into giving up the seat.
Okay, but I do think at first, during this confrontation, Logan's like, yeah, well, if your uncle calls... just have him call, and I'll give you a job. Anything for my good brother, you know?
Anything at any time. Just has to ask me himself.
Yep. And then Logan gets all the kids in the room alone, and he drops just some banger of news. So he wants the kids to sign a trust and giving Marcy a seat on the board and the money, and then also his seat. So Marcia will have a majority, two votes. And then... he also kind of manipulates them by saying, this will be the best gift you could possibly give me, you know?
Right.
If you just sign these papers, that's the best birthday gift anyone could give.
Huh.
And it's just so manipulating of the kids.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Logan, and again, you kind of wonder how much sane is he talking?
Yeah.
Does he know everything that he's saying.
True.
And
I mean, I
thinking
feel
about.
like in that, he seemed pretty sane in that moment. You know, he felt all there. Like that felt like his business mode was intact.
Oh yeah, because that was very shortly before the lunchroom scene.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. The lunchroom scene is coming right next.
Oh yeah,
Cause
he seemed very
Logan,
sane on that scene.
Because that's when
crap.
Logan announced, like, he's like, "Oh, I might stay for."
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay on board.
5 years.
Yeah, and then Kendall, you could tell
7
Kendall
years.
is just pissed.
Yes.
Just pissed. So
That was an incredible scene right there.
And then Logan goes in to have lunch, and Kendall slams the door and is like, "We need to talk, Dad."
Yep.
And that speech was just brilliant. It ends
Logan
with
rips him apart.
Oh yeah, it ends with Logan just saying, "You're weak," and you're like, "Damn!"
Yeah.
And you just see the devastation in Kendall.
Yeah. I mean, and then I believe the bathroom scene's coming up
right
next,
after.
but that scene I thought really topped off Kendall's character.
Oh yeah.
And the whole episode. I mean, because it really puts a big stamp on Kendall. Like, you'll see later in the episodes that it really stuck with him. Those words that his dad said, they stick with him.
They haunted him.
Yeah, exactly. But it also probably got in his mind quite a bit too.
Right.
And that bathroom scene just shows the stress and the anger that he has.
Yeah.
And oh wow, like.
I love that bathroom scene.
That
was a
bathroom
good scene.
scene
I love how respectful he was after, taking the hanger, dusting everything into the bin and stuff.
He even has the courtesy to clean himself up.
I just thought that was kind of funny. I'm like, well, Logan has a maid cleaning his piss. You can probably get a maid to clean that.
Yeah, acting wise, he pulled it off incredibly.
Amazingly.
He made the viewers believe it, that he was stressed.
Shout out to Jeremy Strong, the actor of Kendall Roy.
Jeremy Strong
kills it. He's in some other really good shows. I liked him in The Gentleman. Didn't you see that?
Gentleman, it sounds very familiar. Oh,
that was the one with Matthew McConaughey. He's a weed dealer, and then he was kind of trying to buy the business. He was really good in that. Different, for sure.
Right, for sure. A whole different character. Yeah, and then, I really like him in Succession.
Yeah, he's brilliant in Succession. Just wait, there's some more scenes that are just incredible. Like these next 3 episodes, 5 and 6, are my favorite episodes of this season.
Okay.
So you just, it's exciting.
I'm excited for next week already.
So excited, yeah. And then also, shout out to Jeremy Strong. He was in the Chicago 7. Do you remember that one about the trial?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Of Chicago 7? Yeah, he was one of those the hippies, the yippies.
Oh yeah! Holy crap!
Right?
Yeah,
Friends
rings
of
a bell.
Borat?
Yeah, I saw that quite a while. That was a long time ago.
Really good movie. I recommend.
But really good. Yeah, for sure.
And he was just incredible. I love Jeremy Strong.
He's quite the actor.
So anyway, they're in lunch. Frank gives a little speech saying how much he respects Logan, how he's glad they've been business partners for 20 years.
Yeah.
And how they're like friends.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Frank,
I don't think Logan really sees it that way.
Yeah.
In another scene,
Yeah.
So that'll be coming up.
Yeah, that'll be coming up for sure.
And then, so they go out. They're gonna go play the game.
Oh, the softball game.
And now a little awkward. Craig, he doesn't have a ride, so he's like, I could just take the bus or a taxi. And then Marcia was like, no, you could come ride with us. So little tall Craig with his broad shoulders sitting in between Marcia and Logan, the most powerful man in the world.
Yeah.
But credit to Craig, that's where he's scheming,
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell he already has a little bit, just hanging out with these people for just a little bit, kind of rubs off, and he gets the scheminess of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, Logan, my grandfather has a seat in your board, so if you give me a job, I'll make sure you get that seat or something. I bet that's a burden to you.
Yeah.
And you just see Logan like, oh, okay, I could use this kid,
Yep, Craig did very well there.
Extremely well.
He adapted very well. He can read people. He's got people skills. So I see him in the end. I mean, I see a lot of big opportunities for Craig.
Oh, yeah. He's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Exactly. And then they, you know how rich these fuckers are? They just want to play a baseball game, so they take 3 helicopters to go play baseball, man. How insane would that be?
I think they even own the field.
Yeah, that was their field.
I saw the sign when they walk in.
Oh, man, that would be
their baseball field. Wow.
So awesome. Just taking a helicopter anywhere, having a private helicopter, that's like a dream. But just being like, I want to play baseball. Let me go to my owned field and take my own helicopter there.
Yeah, now they do this every year, don't they? That baseball game on Logan's birthday?
Yeah, I think it's kind of a tradition from what they sounded like.
Yeah, that's kind of what it sounded like for sure.
Well, then they get there, they get to the field, and they're playing baseball, and then Kendall, he's an important man, so he's trying to buy Volter still, and he gets a call from them, so he has to leave the game.
Yep.
And then this is a really dickish move, man.
Oh yeah, for how they needed an extra man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so this just Hispanic family on the sidelines, they were just watching the game, and Roman, he could have done it a lot better. I think he was just an asshole straight from the start. Hey, you want to join the game?
Yeah.
And like really didn't even give him the choice. No, come on. Like Roman sounded like he was trying to be nice, but he was coming off very strong.
It came off so condescending.
Yeah, for sure. So, but yeah, when that game does start and then he makes the deal with that kid,
I'll give you $1 million if you hit a home run.
Yeah. And pulls out the checkbook, writes it right up in his face.
Yeah, just to prove the point.
I mean, that pressure on that kid.
Oh, I can imagine. You know, his family's
the disappointment
watching there.
after, you know.
Oh, crushing. Yeah. So he doesn't make the home run, you know. He gets damn close. Credit to that kid.
Yeah, he tried very hard.
Yeah, and Roman sees that. I mean, being a nice guy, he comes up and he rips the check into 1/4 and is like, you made 1/4 of a home run. Here's 1/4 of $1 million.
Yeah, Roman is such a jackass. But I really liked about that scene when Logan came back up to him after that family and gave him Tom's watch. So yeah, he didn't give a shit about that watch. Yep. But it did show that Logan does have a heart. Yeah, he is still human.
But also, they signed an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, so they wouldn't say it. So I think some of that was he didn't want his family to look bad.
But didn't Logan go up to the kid and actually say?
Yeah, he said, you did really good there, kid. Like, be proud of that, you know?
So that's more what I'm talking about. Yeah. The gift kind of did just seem like an incentive to
I think Logan
keep their mouth
realized,
shut.
like, Roman, that was a fucking dickish move, you know?
Yeah, a liability.
Yeah.
And that's all I see from Roman so far going into the series is liability. Oh,
100%. But that's what makes him so good. He's a wild card, man. You don't know what he's doing next.
True. I mean, he could revolutionize the company.
He could. So then, you know how Frank made that long speech about being best friends with Logan for 20 years?
Yeah, really had some deep feelings for Logan. Yeah,
How's Logan take that speech after?
Man, he just turns around and
fires his ass.
Fires him.
You're fired.
Yeah.
Just like that. And even Frank's like, just like that? After 25 years? Just like that?
Yeah, demoting me just like that. And promoting Roman. Which I thought was a very strange choice on Logan's part.
Oh, yeah. Well, he wanted them to sign that paper.
Yeah, in the helicopter.
Yep.
Right.
So, you know, Shiv and Roman are in the helicopter with Logan, and they say they're not going to sign the paper. So then Logan he ends up having a hemorrhage or heart attack. I think it was a hemorrhage.
Yeah, stroke.
Yeah.
Hemorrhage, brain hemorrhage, stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you could tell right off the bat. I mean, they denied signing the papers at that point because they wanted a more beefy offer.
Oh, yeah. So they're trying to play him more.
But right after, I mean, going into the second episode, you can tell that they kind of regret not signing those papers at that moment.
That's kind of the big thing about episode 2. That's the big points.
Oh, yeah.
And then a last little thing about this. Well, 2 more little things. So, actually 3. I'm looking at my notes now. So, Volter signs the deal.
Right.
Yeah, and that was a really good speech by... the Lawrence Lee is the Volter CEO, played by Rob Yang.
Okay.
And I love that speech at the end when Kendall's like, "Hey, I owe you now. I made you an offer so good you couldn't fucking refuse."
Yeah.
And then they hear that's the actor. Lawrence gets
the news that Logan is going into the hospital.
And at first he's like, "Hey, I'm sorry about that." And then he's like, "But you just let a fox into the chicken coop, and I'm gonna eat your family dry."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh."
Yeah. Incredible way to end the episode. You really go like, "Whoa, what's gonna happen now?" So
that was really good. And then a little thing I wanted to mention is the shot. When it's the very last shot, or not the very last, but it's when they're in the hospital, there's like a Renaissance-like framing that's just really beautiful, where you have Roman walking on the benches, and then you got like Siobhan, Kendall, and them sitting down. Okay. And it's just a really beautiful shot that's like a Renaissance painting, and I just had to shout that out because that one really struck with me.
That's pretty cool. Since you mentioned that, one thing I wanted to point out is the music. The background music. Yeah, I mean, we can't ignore the music.
Nah, dude, the music.
I think they do very well to pull that New York vibe in with the hip-hop style.
The powerful hip-hop and classical.
I was about to say, the classical puts more of a sophisticated feel to it, but yet the hip hop bringing more of like the New York City
it's really
vibe to
cool.
They really do very well with the music.
Shout out to Nicholas Britell.
Yeah,
he's a brilliant composer.
Incredible.
I mean, he did Moonlight and that was a brilliant movie. But this is the soundtrack that when I need to do work for school or something that I can't listen to lyrics with, because that you can't focus as well.
Right.
I'll throw on the Succession theme or the Succession like soundtrack.
Right.
Bro, every song in it is so good, so well composed, and it just gets me in my flow, and I love it.
For sure. Oh, yeah. It's something I'd listen to before, a ball game or something.
Yeah, highly recommend the sound, especially the theme song, that down, 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 down. Oh, dude, it's the best. It's honestly my favorite theme song of any series.
Okay.
By far.
Big statement. I like it.
I love it.
I believe it. I believe it.
I love the piano with the beats in the background. It's so good.
Oh, and we'll point out real quick the name of that episode 1 celebration.
Yeah, I named that at the very beginning.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot about that.
Why don't you pay attention to your own podcast, sir?
Sorry, man, I got my own notes. But I'll point out episode number 2, the name of it.
Wait, we got one more. We got one more scene. You're jumping ahead right now. We got one more scene.
Okay.
Now this one, it kind of showed the workers. They were in their apartment, and it showed the watch, the money they got, and the NDA, and then it framed out to New York, the typical New York, where they're in a pretty nice apartment for New York, but there's all this hustle and bustle, and it's just loud as hell. And it's like a sharp contrast to how Logan and the Roys live in their peaceful, huge apartments. I just kind of like the contrast.
I forgot about that scene. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought that was very well.
Huh.
So that's the end of episode 1, and I just have 2 quick questions I want us to answer about episode 1.
Yeah, let's hear it.
So what's your favorite character this episode?
Of this episode, I'm going to say Craig.
Craig?
Yeah, I think Craig brings a whole different personality
That's a great one.
into the show. And I think he had a really cool entrance into the show, how they showed him the mascot, his life. And then you really feel for him when he's into the situations he gets in. And surrounded by the richest family in America.
Yeah.
And he's just some pot smoking mascot at the theme park. So
way over his head. I love Craig.
But he's making bold moves.
That's a great choice. Bold. Strategizing.
Yeah,
he was a sheep and a wolf, or he was a sheep and now he's become the wolf.
Yes.
Oh
yeah.
Slowly but surely. Now, my favorite character, I gotta give it to Tom Whamsgam. I don't know why I love Tom so much.
When he meets Craig for that first time.
Dude, he's just so assholes and dickish. Yeah. He's like, would you kiss me? If I told you right now to kiss me, would you?
And Craig, you could tell, just didn't know what the hell to do. He's all steps back from him, and Tom steps forward towards him.
Kiss me. Nah, I'm just messing with you. Dude, it was a joke.
I'm just kidding. And I couldn't read Tom worth a shit.
No, that's why I loved him so much this episode.
He had me fooled.
Yeah, I love it. And so the last question I want to ask is, what was your favorite scene of this episode?
Favorite scene? I'm going to go with the bathroom scene.
The bathroom scene where he's throwing that little fit?
Yeah, the bathroom scene really is probably the point in the episode where I was like, wow, this is going to get interesting.
Yeah.
Because like I said, it started out a little bit slow. And then, I should start with the lunchroom scene first.
Yeah, that was Logan such a kind of develops into it.
Yeah, it really drew me in because you can see the relationship right off the bat. Yeah. I mean, even from the beginning. But that really pulls it together. And then the bathroom scene is where it just really puts Kendall in the spotlight of how he feels, his emotions going through, running the front lines of this big ass companies.
Yeah.
So yeah,
just the stress. It shows how much stress he had. How
really
something can make him blow, and it kind of shows why they're so scared of Logan.
Yeah,
because he's not afraid to say what he thinks.
He lays it out on the table and doesn't even care if he's blood related to you or not.
He's kind of like those assholes that say, "Hey, I'm just telling it how it is," Yeah. You're like, nah, you're just an asshole.
Yeah, seriously. Like, come on, man. You can sugarcoat it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So let's hop down to episode 2 now.
Episode 2, okay.
Did you want to say the name of this one, right?
I did, yeah. I really wanted that one. Thanks, man.
I'm going to give you the name. Say the name.
So, episode 2, Shit Show at the Fuck Factor.
Dude, such a good name.
I thought it was really cool.
Right?
When I first saw that, before we even started the episode, I was like, oh, this is going to be a good one.
Yep. Exactly. So, now, what's your overall opinion on episode 2 real quick before we dive in?
Episode 2 is...
It's the hospital one.
Yeah, the hospital one and all the conflict. It was more talking, of course. I mean, but how everything was strategized from especially Shiv and Roman's perspective, I thought they have a really big obstacle to overcome in episode 2. And then Kendall, again, with his stress, getting put on with the board and getting stressed to make a decision as fast as he can, but they don't know what to do because they don't want Marcia to be on the board with 2 votes. I'd say episode 2, I'd give it a good rating, highly good rating, because I did enjoy it.
Now, I think I'm kind of on the opposite end of you. Now, I still love this episode. Like I said, it's my favorite series,
Yeah,
so
it's
no
like
episode drops below an 8.5.
Right.
But I do think this is my least favorite episode of the season.
It's like the build-up episode.
Yeah.
And you got to have those every once in a while.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Get the backstory into everything. And that's, I think, what made episode 3 so great for me was because of what episode 2 was building into. So.
This is really episode 3 I love. But yeah, episode 2 is kind of slower for me. There's not as much emotional, like it's not as funny or as complex as some of the later episodes come, but it's still really good. I still love the dynamic, like you said, between Roman and Shiv. That big decision they have is excellent.
And you can tell how close Roman and Shiv are. They team up like that. Out of multiple family members, Roman and Shiv go to each other. Yeah. So it's cool to see how close they are.
That's because they're like close all the time, or do you think that's just kind of they felt camaraderie being in the same helicopter as Logan was when he died, and they not died,
right?
But like maybe where maybe they feel guilty because they're the ones that both told him no right when it happened.
Okay, yeah, that's a great point too. I could go both ways, yeah, for sure, where they could have been close all the way from the beginning. They don't really show that. I will mention that's what I really like about the intro of the Succession is how they're showing the past photos of them as a little child. I think it really adds to the backstory without saying anything.
Yeah, I mean, even those photos, you could tell how distant the father is. Yeah. It really never shows those. Like, does it show the kids' faces?
Yeah, it shows it but it never shows the
father's faces, I don't think. Like, it's always him in the back of the head or the photos cut off where it's only his legs.
Interesting. Yeah. I'll have to pay attention to that.
Yeah, pay attention to that. I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe I'm lying too, but I think like you never see the dad's face.
Interesting.
So that maybe that's kind of how they see it as a childhood.
Like a nice little, just little hint.
Oh yeah.
That's cool.
So, should we get started with the summary?
Yeah, let's get going.
All right. So the first thing to happen is Kendall gets the call. He gets the news. He's in distress on the phone, talking about his dad. Like, he's just crying. Like, can we get the traffic away? He just wants to get to his dad. And it kind of shows how much he cares.
Yeah, how much he really loves his dad. Yeah. But doesn't get the same feelings back from Logan.
No, not at all. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of how both Shiv and that's how the whole family is. Like, you could tell how much they really do love their dad. They're just all devastated by it.
And Kendall the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kendall was really pushing to be back with his dad. Uh-huh.
So the family mentions the mom, Logan's ex-wife, and how she's kind of a maniac. That was just a little offliner.
Huh. And I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. It shows a little backstory. Not much. You'll learn about her further on as you go, obviously, but that's just kind of a little mention about it.
Okay.
They don't like the mother. And then my favorite dude, Connor, they're in the hospital trying to figure out what to do with dad. He just mentions chirogenics?
We should really consider it. He's very obsessed with it for some reason. Right? Is that his job or something?
No, he's a conspiracy nut. Kind of believes everything out there, Yeah. It was when Walt Disney's walking around in a million years, Logan will be rotted or something like that. I was like, oh, that's great. So then after that, Craig gets mugged by Shiv. Remember that?
With the $20?
Yeah.
Yeah. Craig's on the phone with his mom, sitting there going on and on about how broke he is. And then Shiv just comes up.
Hey, do you have any cash?
Yeah. I'm gonna last $20. Oh, good. Thank you. I don't even think he just said thank you.
No. And then you see Craig just kind of walk behind Shiv. Hey, do you got the change for that? And Shiv is just oblivious. She does not care.
Yeah, that's one big thing they showed in episode 2 is like Marcia when she sent Craig to go get the slippers and all that, and she's all like, I don't need a bug flying in my face, right now. I was like, wow. Yeah. Like I always thought they thought Marcia was a bitch just because it was just a family bias. It was the stepmom coming into this big family, but I got the impression she was a bitch.
Did you? See, I kind of didn't. I saw it more as because during that Craig was kind of talking about getting a job too. He's like, well, before Logan, he kind of offered me a job,
Right.
So I kind of see it as Marcia was like, because she was super nice to him in the first episode. So I see it more as like, well,
Like,
Logan's
it's just
in a
not
coma. This is not the time. You
I don't
know?
want to hear about your problems.
Yeah.
We got problems.
We got bigger problems right now. We got bigger stuff to deal with.
That's a big conflict for Craig, though.
Oh, yeah. I love that conflict coming up.
Because in episode 1, Logan agreed to Craig on getting the job. Yeah, I'll get in some words, and then didn't do it before he died. So yeah, it kind of just leaves
not died, but you know,
or in the
kind
hospital.
of slips because that's how they intruded the whole episode. They're like, is he gonna die or not?
Right.
You know?
They were planning for the worst outcomes. But it leaves Craig just on a string. So anyways, continue.
That comes up to our next scene where Kendall gets pulled out of the waiting room onto the board of directors, and they're like, hey man, I know it's a tough time, but our stock is, we got to figure out what to do if Logan passes away. We got to get a speech out there. We got to get prepared.
Craig?
No, not Craig. I meant Kendall.
Oh, Kendall.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. They pull Kendall out.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, that was a big scene. Yeah, I mean, you got to think from their perspective, running the board of the company, stocks are plummeting faster than they can even count.
Yeah.
And so they got to make a move quick.
Yeah. Well, that was, the stocks didn't plummet until episode 3. This was beforehand, Primitive. They didn't want the news to leak before they had like a
but
statement.
It was still going down. Yeah. It didn't plummet yet.
No.
But yeah, they were trying to get ahead of the news and get their storyline out first. Yeah.
So then Kendall kind of plays Siobhan and Roy for the dad's role, you know? He's kind of trying to persuade them, because we forgot to mention, but in episode 1, during that lunch scene speech, Logan goes off and like, Kendall, you would be the last person I would hire as CEO right now, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So then Shiv's like, well, the only thing we do know is out of everyone in the world, Dad did not want you to be CEO.
The only fact we know is that he doesn't want you. Yeah.
And then you see Kendall, he's like, oh shit, well, you know, Dad wasn't in the right state of mind. No one else heard that. And he's just scrambling trying to get that position.
But he comes up with a great speech, though, to convince him. I thought it was a really convincing speech. It's either keep the business in the family, or hand it over to these assholes and we get kicked out in the future.
Yeah, because they're trying to give it to Jerry or Frank, you know?
Yeah, and for some reason, it was a very cool hint that they kept putting in there. They didn't want
Jerry said
no.
They
didn't want the top seat.
Frank said no. Frank's like, he fired me. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, and I was just asking myself, why wouldn't anyone want that top seat?
Right?
Yeah.
Which we find out about at the very end of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
So then, you know, there's an episode, we kind of jumped around there, but there's a scene where Siobhan and Roman are fighting over what they're going to do about the papers. And I just love this little scene because you see Tom walk in, and then he walks right out when he sees them fighting. He's like, I do not want to get into this.
I thought it was a great episode for Tom, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, Tom has so many good moments. Same with Craig, because this is the start of Craig's journey.
Yeah.
So he's about to go to an apartment, and then Roman runs up. Roman's like, hey, man, can you bring those papers that the dad wanted me to sign? They're on the cupboard there. And so Craig's like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, doesn't even know what the papers are. Yeah,
and I love the little...
He has no idea how important these papers are.
He has no clue.
Yeah.
But I love the little interaction. You know, Roman's talking for a bit, and he's like, all right, Craig, fuck off. You're tall. You're hurting my neck.
Yeah. What was his line after that? He's all like, I'm done with this conversation. Yeah. I was like, wow, I wish I can end a conversation like that.
So dominant, you know. I mean, that's just how they're raised.
I don't have the heart for that.
Well, we don't got the ego, you know. We didn't have everything on a silver platter.
I don't have the time for this. Get lost.
Oh, so funny. So Craig gets a cab, heads down to the apartment, and he gets out of the cab. He's like, oh, I don't have any money.
So that confrontation with the doorman. I thought that was a really cool and funny scene. Yeah.
So funny. So, well, he's supposed to pay you, so technically it's not my problem anymore. It's your two problem.
Yeah, and then you could just tell that it made no sense to the taxi driver. He's just, and if you look at the face of the taxi driver, he had no expression. He just kept looking at Craig like, dude, just give me my freaking money.
Just give me my money,
right? Like, this guy actually owes you, even though I rode in the car. This guy pays you. Yeah.
Oh man, I love Craig so much. He's just so goofy.
That was a funny scene.
So goofy. And speaking of goofy, we got Tom Whamsgam. He wants to ask Logan's comaed out body for the approval of Shiv.
Yeah.
So he's talking to Marcia.
She's just minding her own business, sitting on the side of Logan, and she just cannot stand Craig. Tom. Yeah. He has no timing of when to talk about this stuff. She's focusing on other things, and he's coming in and is all like, well, wanted to ask for his blessing. Should I still ask him?
Oh, dude, it's so funny. Marcy is like, this is not the time.
Oh yeah, wanted him just out.
Yeah. So then Shiv, this is when Craig gets the real big decision, his first big boy business decision, because Siobhan calls him and says, hey, I don't want to sign those papers right now. I know Roman called you to grab the papers, but just say you forgot them.
Right.
And then Craig, at first being oblivious, well, I have them right here. I'm pretty sure these are the papers.
Yeah.
No, you forgot them. I don't think those are it.
Yeah, very confusing scene, but it was a really funny scene between those two. And the reason why Shiv is waiting to sign those papers is she's the lawyers, right? She wants her lawyers to look over them before she does sign.
Because it's a super big decision.
So she's trying to stall, and it puts her in a position where she's on the clock because Kendall needs to make an announcement of who takes over the company by 6:30 when it's at 6:30 a.m. in that morning. To let people know how it's going to be handled. So she's on the clock.
And, Kendall kind of goes with that. That's the next scene, is Kendall's trying to convince Shiv and Roy, or Shiv and Roman that he's going to be CEO more. And this is when he gives that good speech.
Yeah.
But I just had a little line written down that I kind of loved because,
From
Kendall's...
the speech?
No, this is from Roman.
Oh, okay.
Because Kendall's trying to say, well, we need to control the narrative.
Yeah.
So then you just have Roman in the little corner. Control the narrative. Control the narrative. And you're like, Roman, you're just so immature, man.
He is. Yeah, you see him in episode 3. I thought a scene from him in episode 3 was...
Oh, dude, it does.
It makes me think he's losing his mind. We'll
get
to that.
there for sure. So then they're talking about who they're going to strategize with, and this is when they decide... This is when Roman wants Jerry to become the CEO. And he has a great line, too. He's like, I'm not really good with this, like, smart, this business small talk, so I like to lube up and fuck.
Yeah, he has no filter, man.
No filter at all.
Dives right into it.
And then Jerry, she's like, no, I don't want to be part of it.
Right. And, yeah, that's where I wonder, like, why? Why? What is going on?
Yeah.
And I would love to be the... At first, I thought it was they just don't want their name attached to it, just in case if it does completely tank.
Yeah.
And then they can't recover.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I thought they just didn't want their name attached to it.
No, same. That's what I thought first, too. Yeah. And then you're like, oh, that makes so sense. I mean, we could spoil it now, but they're like $3 billion in debt.
$3 billion
That's
in
insane,
debt. And what a way to end the episode.
Right?
That's what really wanted me getting to watch episode 3.
Yeah, you're like, how the fuck is
like $3 billion in debt?
Yeah, we'll come up to that a little bit later. Sure. But Kendall, he's trying to control the narrative. So he calls Volter, and he's like, "Hey guys, I don't want any. I still got your balls by my hand, so I don't want any stories about Logan Roy. You know,
wants to keep it on the low.
Yeah." So then Kendall hangs up, and what's Lawrence do?
Yeah.
He calls up his journalist. Hey, you need to run a story shit show at the fuck factory.
Yeah, just completely exploiting him.
Yeah.
And it was such a dirty move.
I kind of like Lawrence a lot, though,
As like a character?
Yeah, just kind of, because these are, like, giant, shitty billionaires, So I kind of like sticking it to the billionaire, and he's like, no. I'm a journalist. I got journalistic freedom. I'm gonna run this story. You just gave me the best, you gave me the best credit, out there, and
the best headline.
Yeah, you're the best source I could possibly have, straight from the family. Yeah. So he runs with it, and I really respect him for that.
Okay.
And then Roman kind of forgets about the papers, but he calls up Craig. Well, no, he actually wants Craig to grab the papers still, but he calls up Craig and he wants a sweater just so he can sniff. A little touching moment from Roman,
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he cares. He just wants to feel comfort from his father's scent.
Yeah, and in the meanwhile, Craig can't decide which slippers are the right slippers.
Nah, Craig's talking to his mom, and he's like, Mom.
They're all plaid.
And he's like, Mom, you won't strategize.
Oh, yeah, all bitching at her.
He's trying to decide, which one should I do? Which one should I do? His mom's, I love that scene. He's such a mama's boy.
He really is. It adds to his character a lot. Yeah. I can relate to that.
And then another goofy-ass Tom Whamsgam. I just gotta say his last name so much because his last name's so goofy. Whamsgam. Like, it matches his character so well. Like, no wonder he wants to take the Roy name.
Yeah, get rid of that for sure.
But anyway,
Whamsgam.
Marcia gives him some great advice. This isn't the time, but That went all over Tom's head because he proposes to Shiv right then and there in the hallway.
Yeah, in the hospital while her dad is in a hospital bed. And he's all like, I thought it would be a good moment for a bad situation. And she's like, it doesn't balance out like that, Tom. It really doesn't, Tom.
No, but Shiv's a little sweet. She says, she's like, no, obviously no. But it would have been a yes. Just ask me later, you know? And you see Tom, he's like, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I kind of like the relationship. I really do love Tom a lot, man.
Didn't she accept, though? At the end of that scene, wasn't she all like, when it's done, it's done. You know, the moment's there, it's there. So didn't she just say yes, and they hugged? And
yeah, I mean, I think he's going to propose later.
A right one.
Yeah. I actually don't remember if they proposed throughout the series, but I'd imagine he wants to do it in a more professional manner, you know?
Yeah, I think anyone would.
Right. So then the Kendall and Roman actually team up because Kendall agrees to give Roman that Frank's position.
Right.
Because Logan just fired Frank but didn't give him the position.
Yep.
So Kendall's like, hey, if you agree with me, I'll give you that position.
Yep. We'll revolutionize the business, take it into a whole different level. And they're trying to turn it into online.
Yeah. They got some smart strategies, you know. They got good speech about lifeboats coming up in the 3rd episode that I loved. But, you know, that's the end of the episode with Kendall and Roman being CEO and CEO of the business while Logan is ill. And $3 billion of debt coming up here really soon.
Yep, it was Jerry that told him, when they were on the roof.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I didn't want to tell you, but I got to tell you.
Yeah. Don't jump.
While she was walking away, don't jump. I was like, wow.
What great advice, Jerry. I kind of love you.
But could you imagine getting that news broke on you?
No.
You just became this owner of this company, and then as soon as you already told the public that you're taking over as CEO, you get hit with $3 billion in debt.
You're just like, what?
That would be a very tough situation.
Really good ender.
Yeah, I mean, Kendall's already stressed.
Oh, yeah.
But with that added on to him,
so much more.
It makes me wonder what Kendall's going to end up doing in the future.
Yeah.
Is he coming back into drugs?
Maybe.
Can he handle that stress?
Yeah.
You know, is he going to jump?
Yeah.
You know?
You never know.
Yeah,
I can't wait until these next 3 episodes, dude. Kendall his arc is fantastic.
Okay.
So to end off this episode, what was your favorite character this episode?
My favorite character this episode, I want to say Tom.
Tom?
I mean, because he had another scene with Craig where he did that. Just kidding. Well, was it this episode or is that next episode when Craig comes back?
I think those are all just the first episode.
No, remember when Craig comes back with the slippers and gives them to Marcia and everything, and then as he's walking out,
he has a snarky remark.
Yeah, and
like, ooh, look who jumped up the ship or something like that.
The reason he's my favorite character in this one is just because, like, you think you can read him and then you can't. Because when he was doing that confrontation, I believe it was this episode where Craig comes back with the slippers and Tom confronts him about it. But you can, like, I got a sense that he was mad, like jealous, that they chose Craig to go get it because he wanted to please him, but then he was doing that whole just kidding, not kidding kind of thing.
Yeah, you can see that for sure. Tom's a hard character to read.
So I'm, again, very excited to see or not really see, but learn more about him, of who he is already and what he's going through, I guess.
But man, his goofiness, guy, he's hard. I'm going to switch it up, so we're basically switching from the first episode.
Okay.
Because my favorite character this episode is Craig.
Oh, really?
I love Craig trying to make those decisions.
And how he's just sitting there when Shiv called him to stay at home, don't bring the papers, and it goes to the scene. He's just eating a sandwich when Roman calls, and he's just having a good time in a big, rich house that he's never been in.
I love his line, Mom, you need to strategize. You're not strategizing, Mom.
Yeah, he was enjoying himself.
Oh, I love him in this episode so much. And then, what was your favorite scene? You got a favorite scene this episode?
If I had to have one, I would have to say probably the door one. I thought that was a funny one.
The doorman?
Yeah.
And the cab?
And the
That's actually going to be mine too,
was
this
it
episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that one, I was laughing
Such
pretty
a funny
damn hard
episode,
on that part.
Because, that's another reason why Craig was my favorite this episode.
Just his funny scenes that he has, with him and Shiv, and then him and the doorman.
That doorman.
But the doorman one, it was, what's that one skit that they do? Who, what, where, or who, what, why?
Who, what, when, where,
the baseball one. Yeah.
Not sure.
But that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Okay.
The back and forth, confusing, but comedy sketch kind of thing. So.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it so much. Now, the final episode. Let's hurry and get an overview of episode 3, Lifeboats.
Lifeboats.
So what was your overall opinion on this episode?
I really like this episode.
Yeah.
This was my favorite out of the 3
Was
that
it?
we watched for this
Okay.
one. It was, yeah.
Really cool.
I like
Awesome.
this one a lot.
Awesome. I would have to say this.
Yeah, what about you, Casey?
Yeah, kind of going over my notes. I would actually say this one was my favorite out of the 3 too. A lot of stuff happens there. There's a lot of moving parts. A lot of like strings are kind of being attached, so you want to see where the strings go to. You know,
And
a lot of storylines being threaded.
Oh, yeah. More suspicion, like with. I thought it was really funny. I mean, I might be spoiling. I'm kind of jumping too far ahead
no,
here.
you're fine. You're fine.
Marcia was the only person to see Logan in 4 days. You know, like why? And she was trying very hard to keep them away from him. Yeah. You know, it's against his will.
But then you kind of see why, because when Shiv sees Roman, he's trying to, or when Shiv sees Logan's trying to get a happy ending, you know?
Yeah. Was it medication, though?
Yeah.
That he was on?
So I think he was just so loopy and medicated,
just for
and then kind of with his
medication,
Alzheimer's, which I think he does. I don't know if he has it, but I think he might have, like,
some sort of memory, some brain. I mean, after that stroke, he probably did have some brain damage. Yeah. They were saying he might have some, he just might be a vegetable.
Yes, I think that's why Marcia, because he was probably doing embarrassing stuff in front of there. Marcia respects Logan so much and knows what Logan likes that he kind of doesn't want them to see Logan in a weak state. Yeah,
that was just a crazy scene with Shiv, and
that was that was your like jaw dropped, like, oh fuck, he just did that, really, huh?
Yeah, like what's he doing? What's like at first you thought it was just a very sentimental scene. He was just touching the hand, but slowly moving it down,
like
through his pants, and you're all like,
and you can see Shiv was shocked, just
completely. What's the word I'm looking for? Scarred for life. Yeah, that's 100%. What I'm looking for. She is scarred as hell. But it also kind of points out that Marcia was doing that for him, probably pretty often, so he was expecting it. Yeah. But we're jumping ahead here. Let's rewind just a little bit.
All right, so it kind of starts with Roman being cocky about being COO. You know, he feels like the man, hot shit right now. Right. So I just thought that was kind of cool to see his perspective of it. And then, like we mentioned, Marcia won't let Shiv see her dad. This is the first confrontation we get by them, and Shiv's like, why? It's my father, you know? Just shocked, and you can see the suspicion growing there. And then, like you said last episode, Waste stocks are plummeting because Kendall was announced CEO.
Yes.
And this kind of hurts Kendall, you know? Because he has that little speech of like, do you know what people say behind your back? And then he shows the charts. This is what people say behind. Now I know what people say, you know?
Right.
And you just felt so bad for him.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Kendall is under a lot more stress, and you can 100%. Really see in this episode the amount of stress that he's under.
And he's still new, and you can kind of see how he's new because Logan's been in business a lot. And I think Kendall has too, but Logan kind of knows when to switch his demeanors, his personality. Like, he has that super aggressive macho man business, like, fuck off, you know? And then I think he has a professional side where he's super respectful and stuff. And that's probably what he uses for the banker. But Kendall's still new, you know? So he's talking to a banker, and then he tells the banker's like, come on, man, fuck off.
Yeah, he believes he's got to be tough just like his dad was for them to respect him as well.
Wrong person to say that. Wrong person to do that to. For sure. Because bankers hold more power.
Yeah, he calls that banker. He's trying to persuade him because what's going to happen is if their stock does drop, is it $130?
Yeah, $130.
If it goes under $130, they have to pay that $3 billion right up front. Yep. And that's a huge, huge, huge deal that Kendall is trying to get out of.
Yeah, it's like, you really going to do that, man? Come on, fuck off. Don't do that.
He's trying to persuade this guy and just doesn't go about it very well.
I love this silence. Just
that was a really cool aspect. So like, who's going to talk first? Who's going to talk first?
Yeah, I'm still here.
And that guy on the other line was relentless. I mean, did it 3 times. He didn't even break his silence until Kendall did. Yeah. So it just shows how much stronger of a businessman that the banker was than Kendall was.
100%. That moment, you know.
Kendall was.
I thought that's kind of a perspective. Like, you can see where Logan comes in, kind of calling Kendall weak, which is a terrible way of going about it. Right. But you can kind of see, like, he still has some learning. Kendall can be a good businessman. He just needs to work his way up there. You know?
He's taking it serious. Just got a lot to learn.
Now, Craig, he's happy about his first day of work. So he's gone to the office, and he's like, hey, I'm Craig Welsh. Can you guys get me in? And they're like, no, you're not on the list. We can't get you in. He's like, well, I know the family. And then you see Tom walk by. He's like, Tom. And Tom's like, hey. And then just walks right in. So then the funniest thing, you know, how little I think the family cares really about Craig.
Yeah.
Is his name's Craig Roy when his real name's Craig Welsh because it's the brother's last name, you know? So that's how he got in. He's like, Craig Roy?
Yeah, that's why they couldn't find him at first. They couldn't find him under Welch.
So I just thought that was kind of interesting. Like, the family didn't care enough to put the real name in. They just were like, oh, Roy. He's a Roy.
It's got to be because they probably didn't even know it.
No.
Yeah. So that's that you point that out. It probably shows how much the sons of Logan know so little about their uncle. Their uncle. That's interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Kendall calls an emergency meeting. He's like, I'm ready. I'm fresh. We need to show that we're getting stuff started. And he calls this meeting. This is where he has a long speech about lifeboats. Like, I need everyone to give me an idea. There's no bad ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Except
Incredible
for Roman.
Speech.
When Roman's mentioned, we get into porn. Or whatever he's mentioned. He's like, okay, there's some
bad ideas. An awesome speech by Kendall.
Really good speech.
It really got me even hype.
Yeah.
Like, if I was in that conference room in that chair, I'd be hyped. I'd be on the mission to innovate.
You know who got really hyped? Like, really, really hyped? Roman, because the very next scene, he gives a little jerk in his office.
Yeah, I mean, what a view he has. What a view. I mean,
I'd be tempted to do the same if I had that view, you know? If I had that power, I'd be like, oh, shit, no one's going to see me.
Wiping it off the window.
Just, this is so nasty how he cleans it, too. He just spits on it and just starts wiping. I'm like, oh, Roman.
It shows how weird he is.
Get some Windex or something, dude. You have to have Windex there.
How he spits on the window.
So, and also, he's getting like thousands of emails while he's jerking it.
Yeah, and at the first part, I thought he was gonna explode like... Not the way I thought he was going to, or how he did explode, but I thought he was going to explode in stress, like do another freak out like Kendall did in the bathroom scene. But he went a different route on that. He went a
different route to relieve his stress.
I was about to say, I wonder if it was because of stress. Seeing all those emails, I mean, I'd be stressed seeing that much news come in. Your stocks are dropping fast as hell. I mean, you got to be.
I could see that, but it's Roman, so I see Roman more as
it could be his way.
I'm up here. I'm the CEO. I got my big boss office chair right now. You know,
which makes me question: can he handle that power, or is he gonna go power hungry?
No, I don't. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see where Roman takes. He's building. His character is building.
Oh yeah, building very well. And now one of my favorite characters arrives, Stewie, and Stewie is played by. One sec, real quick. You could fill a little bit.
Stewie. I do like Stewie. At first, you think Stewie's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then at the end, it completely changes.
Yeah, 100%. So, I may butcher this name. I apologize profusely. I am terrible with names, but I believe it is Arian Muyed. Yeah, who plays Stewie. And man, I love Stewie here. You know,
Stewie's just like some entrepreneur, just privately owned himself and built himself with a bunch of different companies. Very rich guy.
Oh, extremely filthy rich.
And that's why Kendall goes to him.
It's a parasite. Well, they were friends throughout growing up and stuff. Yeah, they were big friends. You know.
Yeah.
And I love kind of Stewie's like Kendall's like, I'm clean now. Stewie's like, well, can I do a little coke before this is a big decision, you know?
That bathroom scene, Kendall's just sitting there just waiting it out.
Good for Kendall.
Yeah, good for Kendall. Right? I really like that.
Bad on
moment.
Stewie. Bad Stewie. But I love, he's coked out. He's kind of talking like, oh, well, I don't really hate this idea. Yeah. And you can see it turning.
Oh, he's really thinking about it.
Yeah.
But what was he really thinking about? Was he thinking about benefiting Waystar?
Yeah.
Or
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll look
playing
at it comes
double
up.
side. Yeah.
And now Craig, this disgusting person, just disgusting, is filling up poop bags with food at the lunch table. Just gross.
Tom rolls up on him. He's all like, Craig, those doggy poop bags?
And then good old Craig's like, well, yeah, but they don't come pre-pooped.
And they're clean. And that scene did show the different society dynamics
Oh,
between
yeah.
the two different families.
100%.
You know,
It's like, it's just a bag, you know?
but Craig pulled it off. I mean, he went from a mascot, and now talking to Tom, and I think Tom seeing Craig, you know, dressed like that, wearing a poop bag,
Yeah.
maybe felt bad for him. So
Yeah, I
wanted
think
to
at
help
that
him
moment
out.
he started to help Craig more.
Because
And
you see him in a
I
suit.
think there's a
getting suit and
friendship
stuff.
kind of
Yeah.
growing between those two, you know?
Yeah. I mean, how Tom always confronts Craig
Yeah.
with his little jokes and stuff. You
Yeah.
can tell Tom wants to be his friend.
And just that little scene when they're walking to the...
I'm sure he just weirds Craig
They're
out.
walking to the meeting and Craig walks up to... Or no, Tom walks up to Craig. He's like, oh, smell my breath.
Yeah.
I'm like, who does that out of the blue, you know?
Right.
Just
yeah.
funny. But speaking of Tom, Siobhan is doing some other stuff. She actually calls her ex... I want to say boyfriend, but they might have been married, but I think boyfriend. So she calls her ex, and she asks for a background check on the stepmother.
Yeah.
And I thought that was
Yep.
kind of interesting. You know, you see
Oh.
Shiv's gears turning. Like,
Yeah.
she's like, I don't trust Marcia.
Oh yeah, she's catching on to Marcia.
Yeah.
I mean, right from the beginning of the episode, you can tell. You know, why won't you let me see my dad? You know, I have a right. But then, yeah, she's building suspicion.
Yeah.
With
So-
that check.
What did you think of the relationship between Shiv and the ex? Like, how do you think it's going right now?
I don't know. I feel bad for her ex for sure. He's on her little string, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, we're just friends, but we still do me all these favors.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know if the relationship's gonna last very long between those two, because I got a vibe that he was not liking that idea that, you know, just friends,
Yeah.
but still
Well, he was
calling
kinda-
me for favors.
He was kind of, I think he was pushing for more to happen.
Right.
You know, like, I think they, because, you know, he wanted to fuck.
But yeah, Shiv shuts it down.
Yeah.
But she's still asking him to do something
Yeah.
for her. So I don't know. I don't see a healthy relationship by all means. I mean, because I think they want two different things.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll see what happens.
Okay, interesting. And then the Sharks are circling in. They hear the news about Logan Roy in the hospital. So Sandy, the big competitor who owns a different multimedia corporation, shows up.
Yeah.
And Kendall's like, what the fuck? He can't show up here. He's not supposed to be here. Pepsi can't just show up to Coke.
Right. Yeah. Is he trying to put Logan in a heart attack?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he just wanted to make an appearance to drop the stock.
Yeah,
It was
'cause
right on the
after
border.
that-
Yeah, it was right on the border of dropping below 130.
Yeah.
And yeah, soon after Sandy
Right
left.
after that,
Yep, it plummeted.
plummeted
and they
below
have-
130.
Yep, they have to owe $3 billion now.
So, how do you think businessmen would normally handle that situation? I'd imagine they'd have a professional meeting,
Yeah,
you know,
sit
talk
down,
it out.
Yeah, have a lunch
Yeah.
or something.
But, well, Kendall and Roman, they decide to take their shirt off and kind of walk around on the table while they're having their meeting,
Yeah.
you know?
So like, we're not them, we do it differently. Roman rips off his shirt, and I liked how Kendall, he was like thinking about taking off his shirt. He's like, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, he just
at
rolls
least takes
up
the
and-
jacket off. So he takes the jacket
Exactly.
off.
And
so-
Jerry's like, no, I'm not doing any of that. Jerry.
Yeah. But yeah, they were getting just hyped to get some ideas for
And
innovation.
I believe that's where they came up with the idea of, I think we got the order wrong. So I think at that luncheon with Stewie, they didn't offer. Oh wait, no, they did offer him the deal, right?
With Stewie?
Yeah, at the lunch with Stewie,
Yeah.
they offered him the deal. Okay,
Yeah.
because I have in my notes, Kendall wants. So I guess that's when Kendall really cements the offer and kind of gives it to
Yeah.
Stewie after the meeting.
Yeah,
the shirts
that's
off
when
meeting.
he calls the bank and he's all like, yo, I don't need you. And he drops the bank. He pays him off.
Okay. So that's basically when. So next thing happens is, well, Kendall goes to see his dad about Marcia, or goes to see his dad, but Marcia won't let him see it.
Right.
Won't let him see him. So Kendall wanted to talk about the business meeting, but then he just says fuck it, and he agrees with Stewie for Stewie to be minority, and he gets $4 billion.
Yep. And they're gonna try and aren't they gonna try and hide it as a charity?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or investment.
Actually, investment. Yeah. As a
an
young new
investment.
investor, you know,
So
they're
that they
gonna,
can keep the $3 billion debt on the low. They can keep all that out of the media.
Yeah.
And just pull it off as an investment from Stewie.
Yep. Pretty much.
To the Wayfarer company.
And then Shiv just charges in through Marcia and is like, I need to see my dad.
Oh right.
I need to see. So that's when That's when Logan wants the happy ending.
Mm-hmm. And she comes down
such
devastated.
An awkward scene, and you feel bad for Shiv there. You're like, damn, Shiv.
But even after, because it goes back to Logan laying in bed after it happened. It's like he almost realized that that was not Marcia.
Because he's like, I think it kind of hit him, and he realized, man,
that I'm out of it. Yeah.
And then Marcia, when Shiv runs down, she's like, so how is he and everything, and then he kind of whispers in Shiv's ear, I'm a very private woman, but if you need anything from me, you just say directly to me, and you're like, oh shit, she found out.
Yeah, oh, dang.
And that made me respect Marcia more. I'm like, she doesn't take any shit, because this is a family of snakes. Everyone's fighting for every position, so Marcia kind of married in it. I think Marcia,
she's got to fight for herself.
I think Marcia is a really good woman. I think she really loves Logan, and I think she has the better for him, as I see, and I think everyone else kind of hates her for that, because she puts Logan above everyone while everyone else is putting themselves above Logan, which makes sense in the business,
I see, yeah.
But it's kind of how it's a family of snakes.
Yeah, it does bring a different light to Marcia.
Yeah. So then Kendall pays the debt, calls the banker saying, I don't need you no more.
Yep.
And he's feeling like the man. He's the man, He's on dinner with his ex, and he's just saying, I am the man. Who's the man right now? That's me.
Yeah.
And he fucks his ex-wife.
Yep. He's trying to, he confesses his love to her. Yeah. And I'm the man. I love you. Yeah. And ends up in some very aggressive sex, and it makes you wonder, is that the final breakup sex? After this, is there going to no more?
No, because she made it clear. She was like, no, I don't like, you left Coke smears on our kids' iPads,
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
And you can't blame her with being in that family too. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, I bet she hated it. She's a really sweet person, I still like how she's there for Kendall, still supportive, she knows how much he's been through. And she seems like a really good mother, trying the best for her kids and stuff. So I really like her. And so Kendall, still feeling like the man, he goes up to Logan, and Logan calls him, and he tells him about the deal. And then Logan looks at him and says, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, after he just spilled out everything and the hard work that Kendall put into getting the company through this
just
obstacle,
man.
And you get hit with, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, could you imagine how Kendall felt at that moment? You could see in his eyes, like, kind of tears all right forward. Like, he was just crushed,
He was dead.
Because he went from the highest highs, feeling like the man, that's all he's talking about, is how much of the man he is, to you're a fucking idiot. And heartbroken.
It really even hurt me. It did. Like, dang.
You're like, wow. And then the final scene, Craig's walking, taking a little walk. He's looking nice. Like, you see how he got a new suit, new shoes. He's looking fresh. He's looking like a proper businessman.
Bags,
exactly. He could get proper Target bags now.
Yeah.
But he sees Stewie and Sandy sitting on a bench.
Yeah. And that was wild. I saw that and I was like, wait. And I rewinded it and I was all like, that is Sandy. That's the competitor.
That's the competitor right there.
And that's Stewie. So right there, you so excited for the 4th episode to see where that leads to. What's Stewie's plans?
Shit, we might have to start that tonight, huh?
I'm down. I'm 2 down. But yeah, I'm very excited to see what Stewie's plans were.
Same.
I mean, was he planning it right from the beginning? He's like, if I make this deal with Waystar, I should do this with competitors. Or did Sandy approach Stewie?
Yeah,
I don't know. So I'm excited to see that.
We'll find out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So then let's quickly do our 2 questions. What was your favorite character this episode?
I'm gonna have to go with Kendall on this
Kendall
one.
This episode?
It was his episode.
It was his episode.
Yeah, he had a lot of shining moments from the speeches to
such a good speech.
Showing his stress and his workload and just how he pulls through his situations. I thought it was really cool.
I really like that too.
Yeah.
I think for me, I love Stevie's entrance, man. I'm gonna be weird, but Stevie was such a minor character in this, but I loved every scene he was in. Or Stewie, my bad. Stewie.
Yeah.
I love just his introduction. I love how he's still in those chocolate croissants. He's like, I'm so rich, I'm just gonna go across and take it right here,
Oh yeah.
I was gotta hurry and do some coke, even though Kendall's been in rehab, is sober for 4 years, he just doesn't give a shit,
it really makes you wonder how close of friends are they.
Oh yeah, I don't think so at all.
If he was a true friend, he wouldn't have done that.
He's kind of a parasite, like Kendall said, you know? And that kind of like the ending kind of shows that, because they're talking. the competitor. He's talking to the competitor right when he just got a seat.
Yeah. So there was really no strong relationship between the two.
No, I mean, I think there was,
but a very competitive relationship.
I think this was in college. I think they were like college friends.
Okay.
So I want to say it was like a bond like that. But then you just grow into a businessman, and money comes first in that type of world.
Yeah, I guess so.
So.
Wow.
Now, what was your favorite? You got a favorite scene this episode?
Favorite scene? I'm gonna go with Kendall's speech.
Kendall's speech?
Yeah, I'll say it had me hyped. And if any speech can do that, get the watcher and the consumer to feel the same emotions and get hype, it's a successful scene if that happens.
Okay.
So I really liked his scene. I thought he pulled it off well, and it got the whole team motivated, and you can tell just from his speech the innovation that he plans on bringing to the company to get them back out of debt. So
it was a really good speech. I mean, it hyped Roman enough to create my favorite scene of the episode. And I don't know why that jack off that it's just such a weird scene, so out of left field.
It makes you, the emotion in
think, it. You're like, he's got his position. He's such a big man right now that he just, I don't know. He thinks he's king of the world. He thinks he's king of the world, I think. Yeah. And I don't know. Kind of makes me think like, I might do the same if I'm in that powerful of a position, got that kind of view, I'd be tempted. So that's why I kind of like this scene. It made me think. Yeah, and it's just cool. A funny little scene. Makes Roman seem so weird.
It really does.
Because it is a weird thing to do. No. I would never admit to doing it if I ever did it. It'd be a deep dark secret.
Yeah, that was like his first day in that new office too. He closes the blinds and he goes right into it.
When we get that Cabbage Club penthouse, I'm gonna put the tie on the door for a bit.
Get you your own separate building on the other side of the city.
Oh shit. So let's go a couple last things real quick. What's your thoughts on after seeing these 1 through 3? What's kind of your overall thoughts of this show so far? How much you liking it?
A lot of drama. Yeah. And again, I love drama.
Oh, it's such a big drama.
Big thing I look for in my TV series is the drama, the emotion that put into it. Not too big on, there hasn't been like so much emotion into it, like crying, super happy. Yeah. I mean, besides Kendall's speech, with the hype, but again, mind warping is a big thing I look for. Mind bending makes you really think. Yeah. So this show really makes you think. Sees a whole different perspective of a whole different lifestyle that you have no idea about, and just seeing those little details that they put in there to show that different dynamic. Yeah, they do it very well.
Very well. Yeah, I agree there. So, you said, I've seen this whole series, so I kind of want to go over my overview of these 3, but I just want to say, like, this show, it didn't make me cry. I'll admit that. I love a good crier, but the emotionals aren't really crying level, but it goes from extremely high anxiety to laughing your ass off to cringing all in like the span of 3 minutes. Like in these, it's super weird. It fucks with your emotions hard to where you got different emotion every minute, you know?
There's still emotions in there for sure. So I mean, they don't hold back on the awkward cringy ones. No, not at all. Not at all. So,
and then I was kind of gonna ask what our favorite episode was, but I think we said that out of the 3 it was episode 2, right? Episode 3. I mean, episode 3 was our favorite. I just thought that had the most action, well, not even action, but kind of drama action, drama action pieces, like stuff happening in the business that they have to conflictions,
moves being made, and you're just wondering what's next, what's gonna happen next.
Really good.
That number 3 was really good with that. So
so that's kind of, you got any questions you want to throw out, or should we end it here?
Yeah, I think we should call it pretty good. I'd say last couple things to our Cabbage Patch out there. Thanks for listening today.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to more. Stay tuned with us for next week. We're going to be doing episode 4, 5, and 6. Yep. And man, we excited. We're excited. So excited. I'm ready to see exactly what's going to happen.
Oh yeah, and a little thing, like eventually we kind of want this end segment to be your comments. We want your opinions. We want to read them on the air, on the podcast. We'd love nothing more. So right now, while we're in the forming stage, I don't think we're going to get too many of that. Right. But once we build a community, once you little cabbages start sprouting, I would love for you guys on our Reddit to share your opinions on the episodes, and we'd love to read them here.
Yeah, tweet us. Yeah, send us a message on Facebook.
We're going to have our social media here set up by the next episode for sure.
Yep, so next week we'll have all those details.
Stay tuned for that.
Oh, yeah. But until then, give us some feedback. Let us know what you think of this episode of Cabbage Patch TV. And how we can change, how we can help you guys out. We'd love to hear it. But again, thank you guys for joining us today. Have a great morning and a great day. And we will see you guys next week.
Deuces.